Welcome to Retro Recap. Some of you formerly know this show as The Retro Recap, but I decided to remove the from the name of the show because I decided it wasn't needed anymore. So to get everyone up to speed on how this show will flow, the recap will focus on the top 3 things I saw in the last week. It could range from a variety of topics such as WWE, baseball, basketball, football, music. It can focus on a lot of things. So if I have something I want to talk about and I think it's worth mentioning, I'll talk about it. So the goal of this new revamped channel is to get user engagement. So I want to talk about the things that you guys want me to talk about. If there are any topics that you are dying to hear me talk about, let me know. You can contact me in a numerous amount of ways. You can contact me on Facebook. You can contact me on Instagram. You can even message me on Twitch. So those are the 3 things that you can contact me on if you guys have an idea and you want me to talk about it. So like I said, you have my Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch. The link will be in the video and on the description below. I will then pick the top 3 things and discuss them on the next episode. But the only way this can be successful is for you to send me the topics by next Monday so that I can drop this show on Friday. So that's a new thing. So this show will be dropping on Fridays only now. So I want you guys to get your topics into me by Monday because this video will be dropping on Friday. So I need you guys to get your topics on Monday so that when I do my recordings, and I'm willing to talk about your topics, I need them ahead of time so that I can do what I need to do and then go from there. So my channel will be focusing more on my shows. So a lot of the gameplays that you guys have been seeing is going to be more so moved to Twitch, where that will be specifically gameplays, and then this channel will be focused more on my actual shows that I have coming up in the future. So I have the Retro Recap series, Sonic Blast from the past, as a lot of you guys may remember that show. Me and Prince are going to be collaborating on that again. And I have another show that's coming up, a debate-like show that I won't get into too much detail about, that I think that you guys will enjoy. So my channel is going to be transitioning more towards my talk shows, and the gameplays are going to be moved towards Twitch. So if you guys have subscribed because you want to see the gameplays, they're not going anywhere. You just have to follow my Twitch page, which is Retro Recap, which is going to be in the video as well. So definitely transition over to that channel. I got a bunch of videos up there already, so definitely transition towards that. So as you can see on the left-hand side, for this episode 1 of Retro Recap, I already have a list of topics that I want to talk about, the top 3 things that I want to talk about for today's show, which by all means happen to be WWE related content. So in order to get this started, I need you guys to enjoy, leave some comments and feedback on the episode 1. And so let's go ahead and get right into the topics that I have to discuss for the very first episode of Retro Recap.
We on fire up in here, it's burning hot. We on fire.
So let's give you a complete breakdown of the top 3 things that I'm going to be talking about this week. We have to talk about the Brock Lesnar, Samoa Joe, Roman Reigns, Paul Heyman, Kurt Angle segment on Monday Night Raw. We definitely want to talk about Great Balls of Fire. Has that been the best pay-per-view so far in 2017? I want to talk about AJ Styles winning the United States Championship at a house show in Madison Square Garden. I also want to talk about in a side topic, the WWE removing pyro from their entrances and what kind of effect that will have on the superstars and just the product overall. So those are the things I want to be talking about today. So let's go ahead and get started with the Brock Lesnar, Samoa Joe, Roman Reigns segment. Alright, so for those of you who had missed Monday Night Raw and missed the segment between Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar, Samoa Joe, and Paul Heyman, I think you guys probably missed out on one of the better segments that Monday Night Raw has done this particular year. So basically it was focused on the fact that Brock Lesnar, Samoa Joe had a match at Great Balls of Fire, which happened to be a very good match, where you saw Samoa Joe pretty much dominating Brock Lesnar throughout the match. Brock Lesnar still picked up the victory, which I figured that would be the outcome that WWE would go in. They want to make Samoa Joe look good against the Beast. The promo leading up to Great Balls of Fire was showing that Samoa Joe was not scared of Brock Lesnar. And that's kind of the story that they told at Great Balls of Fire. Samoa Joe got the first couple of hits in. He made Brock Lesnar look like, you know, he was going to get conquered and dominated. But at the end, Brock Lesnar had to be the one who still won that match. And that's what they did. So, they have this segment where they're trying to determine who is going to be the #1 contender for Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam. And so Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar come out. Kurt Angle's already in the ring. They talk about who that's going to be. Paul Heyman jokes about this is not going to be a creative meeting in the middle of the ring. Paul Heyman suggests that Roman Reigns is the #1 contender. And Roman Reigns comes down, and him and Brock Lesnar get into it because he thinks that Brock Lesnar isn't worthy of holding that title. Basically, he brags about him taking out Braun Strowman. Jokingly, Kurt Angle saying, you didn't know what to do with him. And Brock, you're never here to do anything about it. And I love this segment with Roman Reigns in it at that particular moment. You got the jokingly Roman Reigns, who kind of does that sarcastic humor where you're not even around to even handle Braun Strowman. And everybody knows Brock Lesnar doesn't defend the title. He's never really on these shows. And we have another superstar mentioning that, throwing it in Brock Lesnar's face like, hey, you're not around. And I like this side of Roman Reigns because it makes him look badass, saying, hey, I lost the match, but I eliminated Braun Strowman, which I've done more work than either one of you two people in the ring, which is Samoa Joe or Brock Lesnar, because neither one of them took out Braun Strowman like Roman Reigns did. So he's stating his case for why he should be in the match. Paul Heyman actually agrees. And then Samoa Joe comes in, and this segment was just damn near beautiful because Samoa Joe comes in and he shuts shit down. He basically says to Brock Lesnar, you basically escaped me. You basically know in the back of your mind that I was whooping up on your ass and I should have won that match. And you barely won by the skin of your teeth. Brock Lesnar saying, hey, I won the match. At the end of the day, that's all that matters. And then they have a back and forth. They get into each other's faces. So Samoa Joe is pretty much submitting his claim that he should be facing the Beast again at SummerSlam. So Samoa Joe basically tells Brock Lesnar, well, I got your number. Roman Reigns yet again comes in and states that, hey, if you got his number, why didn't you beat him? Then, this is the part I love the most. Samoa Joe then turns to Roman Reigns. Look, you mouthy as shit for someone who got beat up by Braun Strowman. Then Roman Reigns says to Samoa Joe, look at me and look at Braun if you can find him. And it was the most sarcastic, humorous line that I've seen Roman Reigns say in a while. And it had me going, because I watched that segment over and over and over again. Because early in the segment, Samoa Joe had hinted to Brock Lesnar when Brock Lesnar was looking at Roman Reigns, look at me, man, look at me, or I will choke you out again, or something along the lines he said. And so Roman Reigns came back and said, no, Samoa Joe, you look at me, look at Braun if you can find him. And it was beautiful because now it set up the Samoa Joe Roman Reigns match on Monday Night Raw. But this segment as a whole, it accomplished a lot. It made Roman Reigns look good after losing to Braun Strowman, but actually getting the victory because he kind of eliminated him. So it made him look good. Samoa Joe looked good against his match against Brock Lesnar, even though he lost. And Brock Lesnar actually won his match against Samoa Joe. So everybody in this ring has a legitimate claim that they should face Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam. And then we all know Braun Strowman deserves it because he actually beat Roman Reigns in the ambulance match. So as a lot of people have already said, we're probably going to see a fatal 4-way. But just this segment alone was probably the best segment that Monday Night Raw has produced because it did everything it needed to do for me. It got me hyped that you have your three most badass people in the ring, each getting their lines in. Even Brock Lesnar took the mic and said some shit. So it did its job for me in accomplishing the fact that they're setting up SummerSlam. They're making each person in the ring still look good, even though 2 out of the 3 people in the ring lost at Great Balls of Fire. So I think this segment legitimately got me hyped for SummerSlam. And their promo work, everybody's promo work in this segment was amazing. So one of the better segments that Monday Night Raw has put on, and that's one of the top 3 things that I liked this week. So moving on to number 2, Great Balls of Fire, and let's talk about Great Balls of Fire in terms of I think it, to me, overall was a great pay-per-view. I didn't actually do a review because me and Renegade actually didn't do a review this time. But I do think that this pay-per-view actually turned out to be good. Most of the matches on the card were legitimately good. Brock Lesnar, Samoa Joe, Roman Reigns, Braun Strowman, Alexa Bliss, and Sasha Banks. And even the Intercontinental Championship match, even though I'm getting tired of the feud between Dean Ambrose and The Miz, that segment was actually pretty good. So the card itself, and then they didn't even have Finn Balor and Elias Sampson on the card, but the overall pay-per-view was good because the quality of matches that we've seen in this pay-per-view were good. And then the Hardy Boys Iron Man match was actually pretty good too. I think it outdid the Steel Cage match that I went to go see at Extreme Rules, but all their matches have been pretty good. It's just that a lot of those feuds I'm honestly getting tired of seeing. The Cesaro and the Hardys and the what's the other one? I'm losing train of thought. I just said it. But so a lot of those segments are actually losing a lot of luster, and they'll come back to me. So I'm waiting for them. Oh, and the Dean Ambrose and the Miz saga. So, but we've seen on Monday Night Raw that the Hardys are probably going to be focused on the revival. Sheamus and Cesaro, I would assume they would be focusing on the club. I have no idea what's going to happen with that. But let's talk about Great Balls of Fire. Let's compare all the pay-per-views. Because I've been hearing a lot of rumblings. People were saying that Great Balls of Fire, for its inaugural debut, has been one of the best pay-per-views, if not the top pay-per-view that WWE has put on this year. So let's go back and talk about the pay-per-views. So we have the Royal Rumble, which delivered. The Royal Rumble itself wasn't all that good in terms of there was no surprise factors, but the AJ Styles John Cena match was really good. The Kevin Owens Roman Reigns match was actually pretty good. Then we had the Elimination Chamber. We had what was it? Fastlane was trash, but Payback was pretty good. Extreme Rules is okay. What was it? WrestleMania was, I mean, if you compare it to WrestleMania standards, WrestleMania wasn't all that good in terms of what WrestleMania is supposed to be. WrestleMania is supposed to be your best pay-per-view of the entire year, and I don't think it lived up to that. Do I think Great Balls of Fire was the best pay-per-view? It was good. I enjoyed Payback for some reason because I didn't expect much out of it, but the quality of matches were pretty good. The pay-per-view with the House of Horrors, I'm not sure which pay-per-view. Was that Payback? Maybe it was. Money in the Bank was good. So I'm thinking about it, and I'm wondering. Great Balls of Fire would definitely be my number two. Elimination Chamber was actually pretty good. Well, the Chamber match was good. But I don't know. The Royal Rumble, to me, that AJ Styles and John Cena match, to me, was probably one of the best matches I've seen this year as far as a pay-per-view goes. But I would say Great Balls of Fire, if it's not the top pay-per-view, it's definitely second or third. It was actually pretty good, considering that it was a Raw pay-per-view, and Raw pay-per-views, in terms of this year, haven't outweighed the SmackDown pay-per-views. And I'm probably missing a pay-per-view that was pretty good that I'm not thinking of. But I know Fastlane was trash. WrestleMania wasn't trash, but WrestleMania wasn't good. And I know there has been some other ones that haven't been all that good. But I would say Great Balls of Fire, for what it was, which I thought was going to be a two card pay-per-view. The Sasha Banks match turned out good, and the Hardys. So you had about 4 or 5 matches on the card that were actually pretty good. So that's why I would think Great Balls of Fire was a success. Extreme Rules could have been really good if Braun Strowman didn't get hurt. Then you would have the ambulance match at Extreme Rules, and it would have fit the setting. It would have been more appropriate. And then we could have had, but then again, maybe we wouldn't have got that great Fatal 5-Way match. But the Fatal 5-Way match doesn't make the whole pay-per-view. It was the best match on that pay-per-view, but it doesn't make it the top pay-per-view just because of that one match. And I think that's what the issue is with WWE. They have a lot of good matches, but they don't, in terms of on the pay-per-views, but the whole pay-per-view or the whole card itself isn't 5-star material. But I would think Great Balls of Fire would definitely be number 2. I would have to actually sit back and think about that. Someone brought that to my attention, and I wanted to talk about that. The Royal Rumble, the Cena match, definitely had my eye, and the Kevin Owens Roman Reigns match was pretty good as well. So I would say Great Balls of Fire definitely top 3 pay-per-view this year. So for this last topic, I want to kind of merge these last 2 topics into one because I know it's supposed to be the top 3. But I want to talk about AJ Styles winning the U.S. Championship at a house show and what that means and what my first reaction to it was. I initially thought that Kevin Owens may have been hurt because you never see title changes at a house show, let alone the fact that they were going to have a match at Battleground. So I was like, well, why would the championship change hands at Battleground if at a house show? So I thought about that. I thought about what will happen next. But after we seen Kevin Owens show up on SmackDown Live and actually have a match, it really makes me wonder why they made the change. Was Kevin Owens getting boring? But even if he was getting boring, why didn't you just have him lose the title at Battleground? Why did you have him lose the title so fast 2 weeks before the pay-per-view? I didn't understand that. I thought he was hurt. Thought he was injured. I thought maybe they just wanted a fresh start. But like I said, why don't you wait for the pay-per-view? I don't know what they're doing. I didn't understand this. And then on top of the fact, like I said, it's a house show, so it wasn't televised. So what initial gain were you getting out of this? And so, do I like the move? I like AJ Styles with any title belt. The U.S. Championship, the World Heavyweight Champion. AJ Styles with a belt looks legit. But it makes you wonder the backstory of why they took the title off of Kevin Owens. Especially after you just gave him this new gimmick, the Face of America, which I thought he actually fit that role pretty good. Especially after how he held the Universal Championship for that long period of time. I thought he would have been a great United States champion as far as being a heel. He could be the anti-American, I'm Canadian, but I'm holding your title. I'm the best there is, the best there was. I am the face of America. I like the gimmick on Kevin Owens. And I like the fact that he's a heel with that gimmick. And I like the fact that he had the title. So I don't know what this does. It was kind of odd. Like I said, my first initial thought was maybe they are, maybe he was injured. Maybe they got bored of him. But like I said, why make that decision 2 weeks before pay-per-view? Just have AJ Styles beat him at Battleground. I don't know what the main event. I don't know who AJ Styles will be facing at SummerSlam for the United States title. But I have my list of people who he should be facing, and Kevin Owens is one of them. But they're probably going to do a Kevin Owens, AJ Styles, and probably a mixture of a Randy Orton or a John Cena at what's the match? SummerSlam for the United States title. So they could even throw Rusev in there. That could be AJ Styles' next opponent at SummerSlam. It could be Rusev, but I have a feeling, based on the segment that I've seen with John Cena and AJ Styles, and how Rusev and Kevin Owens also want the title, they'll probably make it a fatal 4-way match at SummerSlam. And so you've heard it here first on the Retro Recap. I can see a fatal 4-way between those two, just because you have them all bunched up in a segment. All of them are fighting over the same thing. Not sure what Jinder Mahal would do. Maybe Shinsuke Nakamura. I don't know if that would be the appropriate matchup for Shinsuke Nakamura against Jinder Mahal. I'm not sure what they would do. It would be a weird segment, considering that Jinder Mahal voice is very annoying in terms of he doesn't talk loud enough to me, and Shinsuke Nakamura's English on his promos aren't even that good. So I'm not sure what their plans are for SummerSlam. But I did think that the AJ Styles winning the title at a house show was weird. But do I think that he'll make the title legit? Yes. Do I think that he will retain the title at Battleground? Yes. Because you wouldn't take it off of Owens just to make Owens win it back 2 weeks later at Battleground. That don't make sense. So just like it didn't make sense to take the title off of him in a house show. So we shall see what happens with that. And also, the last thing I want to talk about is this Pyro talk, about why we haven't seen Pyro. And I was wondering, the Sheamus and Cesaro entrances didn't have the blast sound effect. Shinsuke Nakamura didn't have his blast sound effect they just added. The Hardy Boys didn't have their pyro that they have going on. And I was wondering what was the reason why WWE has not had the pyro. And so I read an article, I believe it was Wrestling Observer, and someone brought it to my attention that WWE is trying to cut costs. And so that's why they don't have the fireworks or pyro anymore. And so I want to talk about what exactly that does for the overall product of the show and the superstar. So one of the things that I like personally when I go to a live event is the fireworks. The fireworks at the beginning when the show first comes on and on the entrances gives them the overall appeal and effect that a lot of these other promotions aren't doing. I think that's one of the things that stands out with WWE is their pyro. Now it amazes me that how WWE could be making so much money revenue-wise, but then they want to cut costs. And so that was the first thing that struck my mind, is that it was a statistic, I forgot what it was, but back in the day, in the Attitude Era, the ratings were higher. They were getting 8 and 9 ratings, 9 million people watching, but they weren't making as much revenue. But now they're making, their ratings are like ones and twos, 2 million, 2 million, maybe 3 million sometimes, but they're making way more money than what their revenue was than what they were before. So I'm wondering, how were you able to make less money and have the pyro back in the Attitude Era, but now you're making a lot more money now, and you want to cut that for cutting cost reasons, and you're making more money. So I think that the fireworks and the pyro adds to a wrestler's theme. It gives them that mystique of having that, because not every superstar has the pyro. So the ones that do, it makes them stand out. So even when I watched the Monday Night Raw and I didn't see Sheamus and Cesaro, when Sheamus comes out and that flash of light comes on, I love that. When I went to Extreme Rules last month and I had front row seats, I was right in front when that happened, and I loved it. It was epic. And it just adds to them. It makes them more badass to me, because it's unique that they have that. Shinsuke Nakamura, even though they didn't have his pyro for long, that blast effect for long, I kind of enjoyed it. Some people didn't enjoy it, but I kind of enjoyed it. Some people say it didn't fit. I liked it, and so it gives off it doesn't give off the same mystique. Plus, the fireworks in general just makes WWE just a bland promotion, on top of the fact that your product has already been fading, booking wise and just overall appeal and appearance. It just doesn't have the same effect, and now you're taking more away from it. It just takes away from the overall appearance and display of the show, and it's already declining. So why decline more? And if the real reason is for cutting costs, I can't buy that excuse when you're making a lot of revenue. I'm just not buying that. So it's got to be something more that Vince McMahon won't say in public, but we can all speculate why their product. I'm still a firm believer that they're trying to tank the show on purpose so they can get out of this USA contract deal, and so they can get out of this Monday Night Raw being 3 hours. But that's just a conspiracy from me. I hate to say that they're tanking the show on purpose, but I can't imagine that WWE has gotten this bad to the point where the booking has been terrible. I mean, they could hire me and I could put together a better book show with the amount of talent that they have. Some of the decisions that they make are just unbelievable. So that's just my thoughts on the pyro and the AJ Styles, the Great Balls of Fire, and the Brock Lesnar segment. I hope you guys enjoyed. Leave me some topics that I can talk about for the next retro recap video, because I'm dying to hear what you guys want me to talk about, and I can give my opinions about it, but I'm curious to see. So I need you guys' perspective and input on this, because we can make this show great. Just have regular talk show. I'll have guests and everything, but it all starts with you guys, and so it starts there, and then we can take this show going to new heights. So once again, don't forget to subscribe on this channel. Follow me on Twitch for my gameplays. All of that will be in the description box below. If we could get 15 to 20 likes on this particular video, I would appreciate it. If not, let's just keep working to get what we gotta get to make this show great. So, like I said, I got another video coming out soon on my Rage series that you guys will be seeing soon. But until then, this is the Retro Recap Edition 1. Your boy Retro, I'm out. Peace. Thank you guys for watching. I really hope you enjoyed the content. If you like this particular video, don't forget to leave a like and a comment below. And if you want to see more of content like this, don't forget to subscribe. Once again, this is your boy Retro from the Retro Recap. I'm out. Peace.